A brand new Dark Deception Chapter 5 teaser is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. What is up, YouTube? It's a boy, SmackNPie here. So I would like to apologize. I took a little break, just a little bit, after, covering the whole Tokyo Game Show. Me trying to act like I actually went to Tokyo, now I'm all tired and stuff. Talking about some taking a break. What am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? But bam! On your screens, ladies and gentlemen, is your first official look at the freaking frog of the Lincoln look, which is the ring altar, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna clear the air real quick, because some of y'all be like, oh, I'm gonna zoom in and stuff like that, and look at that reflection on orb. No! Why did I say no like that? But no, the reflection in the orb has nothing to do with any of the, oh, look at the leak of the level. It's just your standard game engine stuff. Right? It happened. Don't look too much into it. It has nothing to do with what y'all trying to think it is. But back to the freaking frog. We got our first official look at the updated Enhanced Plus as well as Chapter 5 Ring Altar, ladies and gentlemen. And if you look, of course, like, we're gonna put this side by side. It's a day and night difference. We keep talking about it. One thing I do want to mention though, when we say, whoa, look at the textures, look at the design, and specifically those skulls at the bottom of the Ring Altar, it's not new. They were already there to begin with if you look at the old model, if you look at the old Ring Altar. It's just because of the fact that it was the texture and the art style of the original Ring Altar, it just made it look like they are not there, or like meshed into, it is not, the material is not flesh, but they're like, what do you want to call them, melted into the whole Ring Altar from the bottom side. Like, you can assume like this whole Ring Altar is built off those kind of stuff. Now you see the skulls are far more clearer. The emphasis and the distinct style, if you will, clearly here shows, forces actually, that hey, we are trying to set a clear pattern across our levels themselves. What am I talking about? I'm talking about shard corpses, right? That, ladies and gentlemen, and now those, and we look at Chapter 5 Teaser 02 itself, which we're going to come to in just a second, as well as that Malak teaser that not a lot of people are talking about, specifically when we do get to not only Chapter 5, but Enhanced Plus as well. There's some lore stuff related to Mortal Souls, more expansion onto that. We're not just talking about book. We're not just talking about that. So that's what's happening. I do want to say one thing though. The original orb is what I prefer in this case. I think the original orb had more majestic feel to it. Like, it's an orb, it's an item that is like majestic, like an unexplainable. This one, more of a jewelry, if you will, something shiny on top of a statue, if that makes sense. I mean, that's this Ring Altar in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. But we're dragging this out. There's something else I want to talk about. The creator of Dark Deception himself, Vincent Livings, he himself said on Twitter, he said, when the darkness, not darkness, when the darkness overtakes you, may her light be a guide back. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Calm down. I got you, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it says hashtag Dark Deception Chapter 5. Now, this is a callback to Chapter 5 Teaser 02. Most specifically, this shot right here, if you are seeing it on your screens. This is a blue ball, aka Tammy Hauser, or the purest form of Tammy Hauser's soul, if you will, right? Here they say, when the darkness overtakes you, and we go back to Chapter 5 Teaser 01, that darkness, the evil version of both, well, I keep, mentioning the fact that it's only, we say the word evil when it comes to Tammy Hauser, Clarissa Elise Hauser, even the quote-unquote evil version we saw on the bridge. When I say evil, I do not mean evil in any shape or form. This is more like a corrupt soul, but even if you say corrupt, ladies and gentlemen, you go back to real life, right? You go back to the timeline all the way back when Doug Hauser did the doo-doo thing that he did, killed his wife and kid. I mean, can you really call them evil? Can you really call them evil? I mean, this what is happening to Doug Hauser, it is 100% called for, earned, and deserved. So we are not gonna, the only reason I say evil is just to distinguish and make it clear that I'm talking about two separate things, right? Blue ball is like the purest form, not even good form, the purest form of Tammy Hauser's innocent soul, right? The innocence, the purest form of her innocence. And the other one is like the one that is full of anger, hatred, even guilt to some extent. Because, we read the notes about how Tammy felt the guilt that because of her, she was not good enough for her parents, for them to be arguing like that. I would even argue that we are gonna get a scene where Tammy will say that I felt like I was worthless or not good enough to the point where you had to kill me, that you had to take that burden upon yourself, Doug Hauser, father, that I messed up your life so much to the point where you had to kill me. And then you had to live with that pain, with that guilt, ladies and gentlemen. Probably not that deep, most likely not, but that is just to make it clear of where I'm coming from when I talk about the evil and the good versions of Clarissa Elise Hauser and Tammy Hauser. Make no mistake, I think we can all universally agree on Tammy being the purest form and the innocent soul in all of this. Even her red version, which is full of hatred and whatnot, it is clearly established. But I would say even Clarissa Elise Hauser's goes through the same fate. Now, if they retcon some of the stuff related to Clarissa Elise Hauser where she's not that of a good person, then that is on Vince Livings. I think that would be on Vince, because that is something that he's gonna add to the lore. That is something that he's gonna change. Because for me, even if nothing can overtake or surpass what Doug's done in this scenario. I don't want to edit that much for my comeback video, so I'm just gonna leave you guys with this question. What do you think is gonna be? Because we know 100% with Blue Ball, Tammy Hauser, there's an ending there, right? We involve Beers, we involve Malik. But what is happening with Clarissa Elise Hauser? We know for a fact that we're not going to meet her the way we're going to meet Tammy Hauser with Blue Ball. And Clarissa Elise Hauser's fate has already been sealed. That is something we'll learn about Clarissa Elise Hauser's fate. But when it comes to the ending, where does she fit? I've said in my previous videos, and I will repeat it here as well. The Evil Within 2 ending is on the cards for Dark Deception for at least one of its ending. The quote-unquote canon ending or the good ending, right? Because what is it that Doug Hauser desires the most in this situation, right? His family's forgiveness. It is too much of an ask, given the circumstances. If they see both his wife and kid, what he's going through now to atone for what he's done, I think it's on the cards. The forgiveness is on the cards for Doug Hauser. Whether he deserves it or not, that is a separate debate in and of itself. We're just talking about what is possible in this scenario, and it is 100% possible. I wouldn't even go to the point where we can say Tammy already forgave Doug. I already explained my theory on her mentality when it comes to her father because of her own quote-unquote mental state. Okay, we're just dragging this out as well. Suits of over 100k. There will be more videos like this in the near future, starting with Agatha. I did not forget about that Q&A promise that I made y'all. Suits of 100k. I'll see you next one.